Welcome back, dear friends, for BIOZEE classes. In today's session, let us discuss about the topic menstrual cycle. So in women, menstrual cycle can also be referred to as menses. So then what do we mean by menses, dear friends? Let me tell you that menses in Greek refers to 1 month. So this is important to note down, dear friends. Further, let us understand what is the definition of menstrual cycle. So in women, from the puberty, that is after attaining sexual maturity, till the menopause, that is we can say menopause means the stop of menstrual cycle, which occurs around 45 to 45 years. There occurs a series of rhythmical changes. So for every 28 to 29 days, that is what we refer it to as the menstrual cycle, my dear friends. So remember, after attaining puberty, for a period of 28 to 29 days, rhythmical changes which occurs in the woman, so that we refer it to as the menstrual cycle or the menses. So now let us understand when exactly the puberty age exists. So the puberty age, in fact, exists from 10 to 12 years, dear friends. So in the case of girls, so where the menstrual cycle will start, but here we need an important hormone, we refer that to as FSH, that is the follicle stimulating hormone, which is secreted by the pituitary gland. So remember that the first menstrual cycle is referred to as menarche. The first menstrual cycle is generally referred to as menarche. So this is important, my dear friends. Then further moving ahead, let me tell you what do we mean by the menopause. So here menopause in fact refers to the age between 42 to 45 years. 42 to 45 years. So wherein in case of females it occurs and the menstrual cycle stops out. That is what we call it to as the menopause. So remember, if you know these basic aspects, we can move to the events of menstrual cycle. So or phases of menstrual cycle. So menstrual cycle can be studied in 3 different phases. In fact, so those are, the first one, let me tell you, the menstruation phase we have. Then secondly, we have the follicular phase, which is also referred to as the proliferation phase, or even in fact pre-ovulatory phase also we can refer follicular phase as. Then finally followed by the luteal phase. In fact, these are the 3 phases which we can find with respect to the menstrual cycle, my dear friends. So in fact, we can also add up after the pre-ovulatory phase or the follicular phase. Here at the 14th day, around 14th day, we can add up the ovulatory period or ovulation phase. So ovulation phase can be added up at the in between the pre-ovulatory phase and post-ovulatory phase, or the luteal phase and the follicular phase. So remember, so these are few important aspects, my dear friends, with respect to the events of menstrual cycle or the phases of menstrual cycle. Now let us actually move to the first phase, that is we have here is the menstruation phase. So we have here, let me tell you, it starts from the 1st to 5th day it occurs. 1st to 5th day it occurs, and during the menstrual cycle, and in fact there is a monthly loss of blood, around 30 to 50 ml of blood will be lost during this period. So this occurs in the case of, dear friends, the menstrual phase. So here smooth muscle fibers, the mucus, and also to go with the slowed endometrial tissue. Endometrium is the inner layer of the uterus, so that layer gets damaged, so that releases that is also released alongside the mucus and smooth muscle fibers through the vagina. So why this happens? Because there is a decreased level of, dear friends, we can find the hormone, in fact that is the estrogen and the progesterone. Let me show you here. See, we have the estrogen and progesterone. So you can observe here in the 1st to 5th day rather, so there is the decreased amount of these sex hormones of females, that is the estrogen and progesterone. This is what we call as menstruation, which occurs in the case of menstrual phase, dear friends. So after this, let me tell you, the uterine endometrial wall becomes thin. So these are few important aspects pertaining to the first phase, that is the menstruation phase, dear friends. So moving ahead, we next have the pre-ovulatory phase, or we can also call that to as the proliferation phase or the follicular phase. This phase occurs from the 6th to 11th day of menstrual cycle. In fact, during this phase, what happens, let us understand. So in the case of ovary, where we have discussed the structure, I had told you there is a primary follicle. In fact, this primary follicle in fact matures to form Graafian follicle on the 12th day. 12th day, remember. So here also we require one hormone. We refer that to as the follicle stimulating hormone for the pre-ovulatory phase to occur for the maturation of primary follicle into the Graafian follicle. We need FSH, dear friends. So in fact, further there is also secretion of estrogen. See, here you can just observe, here we have somewhere around here, see, 11th to 13th day, in between you can find here, dear friends, see, there is a little bit rise in the estrogen level, so which you can find here, dear friends. So that's what I mean to say, estrogen will rise, and in fact it is essential for the enlargement of uterine endometrium, dear friends. So this is the second phase which occurs with respect to the menstrual cycle in women. Then dear friends, the third phase we have here is the ovulatory phase. In fact, that occurs in between the follicular phase and the luteal phase. It can be added or it can be left out, no problem. But still, on the 14th day, you have to mention that the ovulation phase will occur. So for the ovulation to occur, so we need a hormone. We call that as luteinizing hormone. And in fact, after this, dear friends, what happens? What do you mean by ovulation? In fact, ovulation means to say that the ovum, let me show you the diagram here. See here we have, so we have during the ovulation, see here we have the matured follicle with the antrum. So here inside we have the secondary oocyte or the egg. So during the ovulation period, that is approximately, it is, we cannot say exactly it occurs on the 14th day. It can be plus or minus 2 or 3 days. So after 11th day also it may occur, or after 14th day till 16th 17th day also it may occur in few cases. So but in general we can find the ovulation to be occurring on the 14th day, dear friends. So let me tell you now, the mature follicle which is present, in fact it will release the egg or the ovum. So that is what we call it to as the ovulation. So in fact, after its release, it will be sucked up, or it will be catched up. So, or it will be captured by, we can say, the ligaments or the fimbriae, which we have already studied. So which are just present in the female reproductive tract. So which fimbriae especially, so which are like finger-like projections which arise from the ovary. So after, in fact, it is released, when it is catched up by the fimbriae, then it will be further sent to the fallopian tubes, dear friends. So from the fallopian tubes, in fact, we can observe here few changes. So it remains, the egg or the secondary oocyte will remain for a period of around 48 hours or 2 days in the fallopian tubes, or the Mullerian ducts, or the oviducts of the female reproductive tract. So within these 2 days, if it is not fertilized by a sperm, in fact the egg will die. Remember, so these are few important aspects we need to remember pertaining to the ovulation phase, dear friends. Then we have the next phase, that is, we refer that to as the, in fact, luteal phase. See here, this is the phase. So it is also referred to as secretory phase or post-ovulatory phase. So this is the last phase with respect to the menstrual cycle, dear friends. So here it occurs after the ovulation is over. From the time of ovulation is completed, from that period till the 28th or the 29th day of menstrual cycle, the post-ovulatory phase, that we refer it to as the luteal phase, will occur, dear friends. So what are the changes which we can observe with respect to this last phase of menstrual cycle? Let me tell you, when it starts, that is, let us say on the 16th day of, where in fact we can find, let us say 14th day ovulation has occurred. So it is not fertilized by the ovum. So let us say 2 days over, that is on the 16th day. So the egg is now unfertilized. For example, I am telling, so the unfertilized egg now will develop into a yellow structure called as the corpus luteum, dear friends. Remember, this is the yellow structure. We call that to as corpus luteum. And this corpus luteum is essential for secreting, for producing an important hormone called as progesterone. So remember, progesterone will be released from the corpus luteum of the ovary. So in fact, this hormone is also essential for the endometrium to become much thicker. That is the inner uterine membrane. So that to become thicker, we need an important hormone called as progesterone. As I said you, it is secreted by the corpus luteum, dear friends. Let us say if the uterine endometrium is thick, definitely we can say that it is ready to receive the fertilized ovum, dear friends. So these changes initially you can observe with respect to the post-ovulatory phase, that is the luteal or the secretory phase. Dear friends, further moving ahead, see on the 23rd day, what happens, this corpus luteum which is present, dear friends, will completely mature. And in fact, by this time, as I said, your endometrium will be very, very, very thick. So in fact, on the 27th day, or 26th or 27th day, the corpus luteum starts to degenerate. When it degenerates, it forms corpus luteum. So remember, or you can also refer other term for degeneration, similar word, you can refer it to as regressing corpus luteum. So that can be seen on the 27th day of menstrual cycle, dear friends. Further, dear friends, let me tell you that, further what happens that, when corpus albicans is formed, there is no production of progesterone at all. So as you can observe here, dear friends, see, progesterone levels will start to decrease here in this region. So that is after the 23rd day. So in fact, what we can say, initially it starts to decrease on 23rd day, and later on the 28th or 29th day it completely stops after the formation of the corpus luteum. Dear friends, let me tell you, as a result what happens here, the uterine endometrium will be ruptured and by damaging blood vessels in the womb. So that is what, when endometrium is damaged, the blood to go with even the unfertilized egg and also the uterine endometrium. So all this will come out to the vagina on the first day of the next menstrual cycle. So these are the few important aspects pertaining to the events or the phases of menstrual cycles which you need to remember, my dear friends. So let me tell you that, please follow up with the classes. So that is it for today's class. I thank everyone for your patient hearing. Please do like, subscribe and share with your friends. Thank you very much.